The explosive clash between cartel members and patrol agents at the Texas border has left residents in a state of panic. This attack is allegedly the first of many. Intelligence reports reveal that the cartels are gearing up for an inevitable infiltration that may lead to the destruction of the border as we know it. Tensions are rising, and Trump isn't about to sit back and let the violent organizations take control of the border. He has taken a bold move that will shut cartels down once and for all. What exactly is happening at the U.S.-Mexico border? Horrifying footage shows gunfight at the border. The Texas border has become the stage for a terrifying gunfight, captured in footage that has sent ripples of fear and urgency across the nation. As tensions escalate, the border is a front line in the battle against organized crime, with U.S. border agents caught in a deadly exchange of gunfire with unidentified hostiles, possible cartel enforcers. The U.S.-Mexico border has long been a hotspot for tension and conflict, but in 2025, the situation has reached a critical point. The border, particularly in Texas, has become a focal point for both national security and international crime. The presence of organized crime syndicates, particularly drug cartels, has intensified, leading to a surge in illegal activities and violence. In response, the U.S. government has ramped up its security measures, aiming to curb the influence of these criminal organizations and protect the integrity of the border. President Donald Trump, in his second term, has made border security a top priority. Less than a week before the gunfight, the Pentagon, acting on Trump's directive, deployed an additional 1,500 active duty troops to the border. This move was part of a broader strategy to reinforce the existing security apparatus, which already included 2,200 active duty troops. The total number of troops now stands at 3,700, with plans to potentially increase this number to 10,000 if the situation demands. This significant military presence is not just a show of force, but a necessary measure to counter the sophisticated and often brutal tactics employed by the cartels. Intelligence reports have indicated that these crime groups are not only well armed, but are also exploring new methods of attack, including the use of weaponized drones. This evolving threat landscape has necessitated a robust and dynamic response from U.S. border security forces, who are now on high alert for any signs of aggression or illegal activity. The gunfight at the Texas border erupted with a sudden and violent intensity, shattering the tense silence that had hung over the area. The U.S. border agents, already on high alert due to the intelligence reports, quickly mobilized to intercept the potential threat. As the hostiles drew closer, the situation escalated rapidly. The agents issued commands for the intruders to halt, but their warnings were met with gunfire. The initial shots rang out, signaling the start of a fierce and chaotic exchange. The border agents, trained for such high-stakes encounters, immediately took cover and returned fire, engaging in a tactical response to the unexpected assault. In the aftermath of the gunfight, the Texas border was left in a state of tense calm as the echoes of gunfire faded into the distance. The immediate priority for U.S. border agents was to assess the situation and account for all personnel involved in the confrontation. Fortunately, no casualties were reported among the U.S. agents. However, the hostiles did not fare as well. Several were apprehended in the aftermath, their identities and affiliations becoming the focus of an intense investigation. The possibility of cartel involvement loomed large, and the captured individuals were quickly transported to secure facilities for questioning. The scene of the gunfight was meticulously examined by forensic teams who worked to piece together the sequence of events and gather evidence. Bullet casings, weapon fragments, and other materials were collected, providing valuable insights into the tactics and weaponry used by the attackers. This evidence would play a vital role in the ongoing investigation, helping to identify any links to organized crime syndicates operating in the region. The immediate investigation also involved a thorough review of surveillance footage and communications intercepted in the lead-up to the gunfight. Analysts pored over the data, searching for clues that might shed light on the attackers' plans and objectives. In the wake of the gunfight, policymakers and security experts are considering several potential changes to enhance border security. One key area of focus is the integration of advanced technology to better detect and respond to threats. These measures aim to provide border agents with real-time information and the ability to neutralize aerial threats before they can cause harm. Another potential change involves the deployment of additional resources and personnel to the border. The presence of 3,700 active troops played a crucial role in the the successful response to the gunfight, and there is consideration of increasing this number to 10,000 if the threat level warrants it. This would provide a more robust security presence and enable a quicker and more effective response to any emerging threats. The gunfight has also reignited debates about the broader approach to border security, including the balance between enforcement and humanitarian considerations. While the focus remains on preventing illegal activities and ensuring national security, there is an ongoing discussion about the need to address the root causes of migration and crime, such as poverty and instability in neighboring countries, to protect the nation's borders and ensure the safety and security of its citizens. The events at the Texas border have reverberated beyond the United States, drawing international attention and prompting responses from neighboring countries, particularly Mexico. The Mexican government, aware of the implications for bilateral relations and regional security, has expressed its commitment to cooperating with the U.S. in addressing the challenges posed by organized crime along the border. The Mexican government has pledged to intensify its efforts to curb the activities of cartels within its territory, recognizing that a coordinated approach is essential to ensuring the safety and security of both nations. The gunfight at the Texas border is likely to have significant long-term effects on the communities situated along the border, impacting them economically, socially, and psychologically. These communities, already accustomed to the challenges of living in a high-security zone, now face heightened concerns and uncertainties in the wake of the recent violence. Economically, the increased military presence and security measures could have both positive and negative effects. On one hand, the deployment of additional troops and resources may lead to increased government spending in the area, potentially boosting local economies through contracts and employment opportunities. On the other hand, the perception of heightened danger and instability could deter investment and tourism, affecting businesses that rely on cross-border trade and travel. The presence of organized crime and the ongoing security operations can create an atmosphere of fear and suspicion, impacting the social fabric of these areas. Residents may experience increased scrutiny and disruptions to their daily lives, as law enforcement intensifies its efforts to maintain order and prevent further incidents. The constant threat of violence and the presence of heavily armed personnel can take a toll on the mental well-being of residents, leading to increased stress and anxiety. The fear of future attacks and the uncertainty surrounding border security can create a pervasive sense of unease, affecting the quality of life for those living in these areas. Despite these challenges, border communities have shown resilience in the face of adversity. Many residents have developed coping mechanisms and support networks to navigate the complexities of life in a high-security environment. Community organizations and local leaders play a crucial role in fostering a sense of solidarity and providing resources to help residents manage the psychological and social impacts of living near the border. The horrifying footage of the gunfight at the Texas border has brought to light the intense and complex challenges faced by U.S. border security. From the tense buildup marked by intelligence reports of potential cartel attacks to the dramatic confrontation itself, this incident underscores the volatile nature of the border region. The swift response by U.S. border agents and military personnel highlights the critical importance of preparedness and coordination in the face of evolving threats. Trump isn't afraid to face cartels head-on while also trying to solve the immigration crisis. His methods may seem extreme. He is disrupting cartels already. Trump's effort disrupts cartels' billion-dollar business. President Trump's aggressive efforts to disrupt the Mexican cartel's operations have heavily impacted the criminal underworld, with a bold strategy that includes a stringent border crackdown and the unprecedented designation of these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Trump's administration is rewriting the rules of engagement. The Mexican cartels have long been synonymous with power, wealth, and violence, operating billion-dollar businesses that span continents. These criminal organizations have built their empires on the trafficking of drugs, weapons, and human lives, exploiting the vulnerabilities of borders and the insatiable demand for illicit goods. The cartel's influence extends deep into the fabric of society, corrupting officials, instilling fear, and maintaining control through brutal force. For decades, these cartels have operated with relative impunity, their operations becoming increasingly sophisticated and global in scope. The unbelievable scale of their business is staggering, with profits rivaling those of legitimate multinational corporations. This immense wealth has allowed them to wield significant significant power, both in Mexico and beyond, making them formidable adversaries for any government attempting to dismantle their operations. Recognizing the threat posed by these billion-dollar enterprises, Trump's strategy involves a holistic approach aimed at crippling the cartel's operations and cutting off their financial lifelines. By designating these organizations as foreign terrorist groups, Trump has opened the door to more aggressive tactics and international cooperation, signaling a new era in the battle against the cartels. The decision to target the cartels is not merely a matter of law enforcement, it is a strategic move to address the broader implications of their activities. The cartel's influence extends beyond drug trafficking, impacting national security, public health, and the stability of entire regions. By disrupting their operations, Trump's administration aims to weaken the cartel's grip on power and restore order to areas plagued by violence and corruption. The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, plays a pivotal role in this effort, tasked with gathering and sharing intelligence on cartel activities. The agency is working closely with regional governments, providing training and support to local counter-narcotics units. This collaboration aims to strengthen the capabilities of local forces, enabling them to more effectively combat the cartels on the ground. These measures represent a significant escalation in the fight against the cartels, reflecting Trump's determination to dismantle their billion-dollar empires. The CIA, renowned for its covert operations and intelligence-gathering capabilities, is now at the forefront of efforts to dismantle the cartel's billion-dollar empires. One of the key strategies employed by the CIA involves the sharing of critical intelligence with regional governments. By providing these governments with valuable insights into cartel activities, the CIA aims to enhance their ability to combat these criminal enterprises effectively. This intelligence-sharing initiative is designed to foster greater collaboration and coordination among nations affected by the cartel's operations, creating a united front against a common enemy. In addition to intelligence sharing, the CIA is actively involved in training local counter-narcotics units. Recognizing the importance of empowering local forces, the agency is providing specialized training and resources to enhance their capabilities in the fight against the cartels. This training includes advanced techniques in surveillance, interdiction, and tactical operations, equipping local units with the skills needed to confront the cartels on their own turf. The CIA's involvement in this battle is not limited to traditional intelligence and training roles. There is speculation that the agency may also engage in covert actions aimed at disrupting the cartel's operations. While the specifics of these actions remain classified, the mere possibility of such operations adds an element of intrigue and unpredictability to the unfolding narrative, especially now that the cartels may be treated as terrorists. By labeling the cartels as terrorists, Trump has effectively expanded the scope of legal and diplomatic tools available to combat these criminal enterprises. This designation allows for the freezing of assets and the imposition of sanctions on individuals and entities that support the cartels, creating significant financial pressure on their operations. It also opens the door for extradition requests and prosecutions under anti-terrorism laws, providing a powerful legal framework to hold cartel members accountable. The international community's response to this designation has been mixed, with some countries expressing support for the move, while others voice concerns about its potential impact on diplomatic relations. For nations directly affected by cartel activities, the designation offers an opportunity to strengthen cooperation with the United States in the fight against organized crime. It provides a platform for enhanced intelligence sharing, joint operations, and coordinated efforts to dismantle the cartel's networks. However, the designation also presents challenges, particularly in terms of diplomatic relations with countries where the cartels operate. Some governments may view the move as an infringement on their sovereignty, complicating efforts to build consensus and cooperation. The potential for increased military and law enforcement actions in these regions raises concerns about the impact on civilian populations and the risk of escalating violence. As Trump's aggressive efforts to dismantle the Mexican cartel's billion-dollar operations intensify, the cartels find themselves facing unprecedented pressure. The designation of these organizations as foreign terrorist groups, coupled with enhanced border security and increased international cooperation, poses a significant threat to their business model and influence. Faced with these challenges, the cartels are likely to adapt and respond in a variety of ways, each with its own set of consequences. One potential response from the cartels is to diversify their operations, seeking new revenue streams to offset the disruption of their traditional drug trafficking activities. This could involve expanding into other illicit markets, such as human trafficking, arms smuggling, or cybercrime. By diversifying their operations, the cartels may attempt to mitigate the financial impact of the U.S. government's crackdown and maintain their profitability. The cartels may also seek to strengthen their alliances alliances with other criminal organizations, both domestically and internationally. By forming strategic partnerships, they can pool resources, share intelligence, and coordinate efforts to evade law enforcement actions. These alliances could lead to the emergence of more sophisticated and resilient criminal networks, posing new challenges for governments and law enforcement agencies worldwide. Despite these potential adaptations, the cartels face significant obstacles in their efforts to counter the U.S. government's aggressive campaign. The enhanced legal and diplomatic tools available to the Trump administration, combined with increased international cooperation, present formidable challenges for the cartels as they navigate this new landscape. Trump's aggressive policies targeting the Mexican cartels have profound implications for the local populations residing in regions under cartel control. These communities, often caught in the crossfire of the battle between the cartels and law enforcement, face a complex range of challenges as the U.S. government's crackdown intensifies. One of the most pressing concerns is the potential for increased violence as the cartels respond to the heightened pressure. As these criminal organizations seek to maintain control over their territories, the risk of violent confrontations with law enforcement and rival groups escalates. This surge in violence poses a significant threat to the safety and well-being of local residents, who may find themselves living in a state of constant fear and uncertainty. The disruption of cartel operations can also have economic repercussions for local communities. In regions where the cartels have established a strong presence, their activities often provide a source of income for individuals who may have limited employment opportunities. As the U.S. government's efforts to dismantle the cartel's operations take effect, these communities may experience economic instability and hardship, exacerbating existing social and economic challenges. Trump's aggressive efforts to dismantle the Mexican cartel's billion-dollar operations have elicited a wide range of reactions from U.S. political figures and law enforcement agencies. As the administration's policies unfold, the debate over their effectiveness and implications continues to intensify. Among Trump's staunchest supporters, there is a strong endorsement of the administration's hardline approach. Many Republican lawmakers and conservative political figures praise the designation of cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, viewing it as a necessary step to combat the pervasive threat posed by these criminal enterprises. They argue that the enhanced legal and diplomatic tools provided by this designation are essential for dismantling the cartel's operations and protecting national security. Law enforcement agencies, particularly those operating along the U.S.-Mexico border, have expressed support for the increased resources and attention directed toward combating the cartels. The enhancement of border security measures and the collaboration with international partners are seen as critical components of a comprehensive strategy to disrupt the cartel's activities. For many in law enforcement, the administration's efforts represent a long overdue commitment to addressing the complex challenges posed by transnational organized crime. The long-term effects of Trump's aggressive efforts against the Mexican cartels have the potential to reshape the future of drug policy and cartel operations in profound ways. As the administration's crackdown unfolds, it sets the stage for significant shifts in both the strategies employed by criminal organizations and the policies adopted by governments to combat them. One potential outcome is the reevaluation of drug policies at both the national and international levels. The disruption of cartel operations and the challenges associated with enforcing prohibitionist policies may prompt policymakers to explore alternative approaches to drug regulation. This could include discussions around decriminalization, legalization, or harm reduction strategies as governments seek to address the root causes of drug-related issues and reduce the influence of criminal enterprises. As Trump's administration gears up for the ultimate war, the cartels are also preparing to fight back with all they have. Cartels fill their arsenal as the storm brews. It's true that the United States is preparing for an all-out war against the notorious Mexican cartels, but cartels aren't just sitting back and waiting for their downfall. Reports from investigative journalist Tucker Carlson reveal the cartel's alarming preparations, sourcing weapons from black markets and exploiting legal loopholes in the United States. During a riveting interview with Tucker Carlson, Colonel Daniel Davis laid bare his claims that American weapons, originally intended for Ukraine's defense, are being diverted to Mexican drug cartels. This revelation has not only captured the attention of the public, but has also raised serious questions about the oversight and accountability of military aid. Colonel Daniel Davis, a respected military expert with years of experience, did not mince words during his conversation with Carlson. He painted a grim picture of how American taxpayers' money, earmarked for supporting Ukraine amidst its ongoing conflict with Russia, is allegedly being misused. According to Davis, the weapons supplied by the United States are not all reaching their intended destination. Instead, they are finding their way into the hands of dangerous criminal organizations across the border in Mexico. The interview, which aired on a popular social media platform, quickly went viral, sparking widespread debate and concern. Davis's assertions were not made lightly. They were backed by what he described as credible intelligence and insider information. He questioned the effectiveness of the current systems in place to monitor and track the distribution of military aid, suggesting that there are significant gaps that need to be addressed. Tucker Carlson, known for his incisive interviewing style, pressed Davis for more details. He inquired about the evidence supporting these claims and the potential motivations behind such a dangerous diversion of weapons. Davis responded by highlighting the complex web of interests and corruption that can often accompany international military aid. He suggested that some individuals within the Ukrainian government might be exploiting the situation for personal gain, prioritizing profit over the safety and security of their nation and its allies. The response from the U.S. government was swift and decisive. Officials from the Department of Defense and the State Department categorically denied the allegations, emphasizing their commitment to ensuring that military aid is used appropriately and effectively. They pointed to the rigorous checks and balances in place to prevent such occurrences and reassured the public that any claims of misuse would be thoroughly investigated. However, the denials did little to quell the growing unease among the American public and international observers. The current state of cartel armament is both alarming and sophisticated, reflecting their determination to defend their territories against any threats. These criminal organizations have amassed a formidable arsenal, comprising a wide array of weapons that rival those of military forces. From assault rifles and grenades to high-caliber machine guns and explosives, the cartels are equipped to wage a war of unprecedented scale. One of the primary methods cartels use to acquire these weapons is through the black market. This underground network provides access to a vast array of arms, often sourced from conflict zones around the world. The cartels exploit these channels to procure the latest in weaponry, ensuring they remain a formidable force against any adversary. In addition to the black market, cartels have also turned to the United States for their armament needs. They employ individuals, often referred to as straw purchasers, to legally buy firearms in the U.S. These weapons are then smuggled across the border into Mexico, circumventing legal restrictions and bolstering the cartel's firepower. This method has proven to be highly effective, allowing the cartels to maintain a steady supply of arms despite increased scrutiny from law enforcement. The role of the United States gun laws and policies in the cartel's ability to smuggle weapons is a critical aspect of the broader narrative surrounding the escalating tensions. The U.S. boasts some of the most permissive gun laws in the world, which, while intended to uphold the Second Amendment rights of its citizens, have inadvertently provided cartels with a loophole to exploit. This exploitation of U.S. gun laws has become a point of contention in the ongoing battle against the cartels. Critics argue that stricter regulations and more comprehensive background checks are necessary to prevent firearms from falling into the wrong hands. However, proponents of the current laws maintain that any changes could infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens. The debate over gun control and its impact on cartel activities has intensified as the threat of conflict looms. Law enforcement agencies on both sides of the border are grappling with the challenge of curbing the flow of weapons while respecting individual rights. The Mexican government has been actively engaged in a strategy to combat cartel activities, recognizing the urgent need to address the escalating threat posed by these powerful criminal organizations. One of the most significant measures taken has been the deployment of the first of 10,000 troops to the northern border. This strategic move aims to reinforce security, disrupt smuggling routes, and deter cartel operations in the region. In addition to the military presence, the Mexican government has implemented a series of strategies designed to weaken the cartel's influence and dismantle their operations. These efforts include increased intelligence sharing and collaboration with international partners, particularly the United States, to track and intercept illegal arms shipments. By enhancing cross-border cooperation, both nations aim to disrupt the flow of weapons and resources that fuel cartel activities. The Mexican government has also focused on strengthening law enforcement capabilities within the country. This involves providing additional training and resources to police forces, enabling them to better combat organized crime. Anti-corruption measures have been introduced to ensure that law enforcement agencies remain effective and uncompromised in their mission to dismantle cartel networks. Beyond that, the government has launched initiatives aimed at addressing the root causes of cartel influence, such as poverty and lack of economic opportunities. The conflict between the United States, Mexico, and the cartels carries significant international implications, with the potential to impact global politics and trade. As tensions escalate, the eyes of the world are fixed on this volatile region, aware that the outcome could reverberate far beyond the borders of North America. One of the primary concerns is the potential disruption to trade between the United States and Mexico, two nations deeply intertwined through economic partnerships and agreements such as the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA. Any escalation in violence or instability could threaten the flow of goods and services, impacting industries and economies on both sides of the border. Trump already threatened to increase tariffs on Mexico by 25%, but suspended his plans when he saw Mexico make an effort to increase security on the border. If Trump should eventually fulfill his threats, there will be serious consequences. The tariffs could lead to increased costs, supply chain disruptions, and economic uncertainty, affecting global markets. The world is watching as the drama unfolds. Thanks for watching. Check out the cards on the screen for more.